this week we're going to do a little work on Dad's 55 truck. As you guys know, we're working really hard to get this thing registered to put into the Sick Smokies event. So we're trying to make a few little improvements, as well as hopefully in the future make some pretty big improvements, potentially with a little bit of a roll bar and stuff like that. But this week we're going to do kind of a small job, but I thought it was a really neat upgrade for this truck. So let's get in here and check it out real quick. So this truck has, of course, all the stock fenders, the hood, the valance, everything about it as far as sheet metal wise is basically stock, including these hood hinges here, which are this big bulky spring type hood hinges, which are really stiff, even though we've got them lubricated up, and they work pretty good, to be fair, to give them some credit, especially to be as old as they are. And what we're going to do is go ahead and get rid of those and modernize this a little bit more and make it a lot more functional. So what we've got is a kit from LS Fab, and it's going to replace those with these nice modern hood struts like you'd see on any sort of modern car, lift gate or things like that, maybe if you have like a Suburban or something. But you can see it's got a set of these. We got two of those going to go on each side, and the nice thing is we should only have to drill 2 holes in the hood of this truck to make it happen. So basically this bracket set right here will replace where the hood hinge attaches to the firewall. So we'll pull that hood hinge off, replace it with these nice stainless brackets. If you look at these guys, they are super thick, really heavy duty stainless stuff, which is really nice. And then we will also be adding these 2 brackets to the hood itself. So this will go on the inside of the hood, and I'll show you guys what that's going to look like. But LS Fab, they sent everything that we need to do this with, including the instructions to do it, of course, and nice hardware, stainless hardware, all of the balls and stuff that will go on these to make those struts quick attach, basically. So let's get in here. I'm going to pull the old stuff out and show you kind of what we're dealing with. To show you where these are going to go, they're going to rest on the inside of the hood here. They're going to end up mounted like this, and you can see they fit right there in that lip in the hood. So these are the 2 holes that we have to drill. We'll have the ball come off of this, and that strut will run from here down to the firewall, and everything should just bolt right up. We got to get our measurements. They've got all of that stuff for us, but first I'm going to go ahead and get the old hardware stripped out of here, the old springs and stuff with everything that we put in here, and get it ready and prepped. Then we'll mark these holes, and then we should be able to ready to drill them, get everything bolted up. This should be super simple. I went ahead, and Dad had this jack handle that he was using for his motorcycle jack. I went ahead and took it and put it into the 2 pieces because it disconnects, just to give a little bit of support here on the hood, and that is there in that hood latch holding it up so that when I take this off it doesn't mash my head. So I'll go ahead and zoom in here, and we'll go ahead and get these taken off. So on the bottom side here, it's just 2 1/2-inch bolts. Get them removed. You can see it load there on that jack handle. And then the only thing that's holding it up here at the top is this 1 bolt. Perfect. Go ahead and take this side off also. One thing about it, when we put this truck together, I'll be honest, we kind of just did like a hodgepodge of hardware. So there's just like this mixture of old and new on this truck. Some of them being literally the hardware that was used with the truck itself. So you can see like it has this same burgundy paint that's on this truck. So you can see like a lot of these bolts had this in it when they kind of half-heartedly painted this truck years ago. But so anyway, it's nice to kind of get some of this stuff replaced with some newer stuff, just because. There we go. So now that it's out, you can get a better look at it, kind of how this stuff is. But again, this is the factory stuff that came with this truck from 1955. So it's 40, 60, 70 years old this year. That's actually kind of crazy to think about now that I am. Yeah, 70 years old this stuff is. So you can imagine this truck, the body work, and I mean the sheet metal and all that stuff being 70 years old. It's just kind of actually blowing me away now that I'm thinking about it. It's kind of how well this stuff is all held up as long as it has. But here's a very good example of our hodgepodge of hardware. There's a grade 8 bolt of ours. There's a bolt that came with the truck. There's a stainless bolt that we had up in the top of them. So should make everything look a little better when we get this new stuff in here. Alright, now that I've got everything out, I kind of want to brag on this because the quality on this stuff is so ridiculously good. So you can see the buttons where these struts are going to snap onto. Everything is stainless. Everything is coated. They have these like super low profile bolts that will be used so that they will barely stick out of the hood here whenever we drill those two holes for that bracket. I mean, super low profile, so you're not going to have to worry about them like beating on the fender or anything like that. That's super cool. And like I said earlier, just these Allen heads, that's going to be a lot easier to get to than the socket heads that we took out of it. And man, just wow. It's the first time I've got everything out of the bags and it just looks really, really good. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get the firewall side bolted up, and then we'll tape up the hood and get ready to drill our holes. So these flanges are directional, so you can see here, if we bring it in close, you want this on the passenger side to be mounted up like this, meaning that these two bolts, or the rounded side of this bracket, is going to be pointed toward the inside of the truck. So that is important because, like I said, that's how they want it mounted up. One thing the instructions don't call for, but I'm going to do, is I'm going to put a little bit of our Permatex anti-seize on here. We pretty much do this with any sort of stainless hardware, but I like to do that because this stainless stuff will gald if you're not careful, and it's no good. So we'll put a little dab of that on there just to keep it safe. So I'm not going to run them down tight just yet until I get the other one mounted up. One thing I probably should have went ahead and pre-done, because there's plenty of clearance to do, is go ahead and put our stud in here. But the ball side of this is going to point toward the outside of the truck, and we have our acorn nut that goes on the other side of it. These are 12 and 13 millimeters, 12 on the ball side, 13 on the acorn side. Tighten that up good. Awesome. I can bring you in here and show you what that's going to look like. That's basically how that guy's going to live. And we can go ahead and get the other side to the same place. So the next big thing that we have to do here is go ahead and get our holes in our hood marked and drilled. The instructions call from the center of this bumper to up here. The first hole should be 5 3/4 of an inch from the center of the bumper to that line right there, which is what I marked. I just used a combination square, centered it up here on our bumper, and got it to where right there, and that's what I used. 5 3/4 inches forward of that, and that's how I got my first line. So you can see here the bend there, they have taken into account that bend being there adds some thickness to the bracket here, but since it sets up inside of this, that bend sets on the inside of this lip here, which is good, because now all we have to do is I'm going to take this bracket and I'm going to put it right to the very edge of the hood, and I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to center that line up in that hole. We'll go ahead and clamp it, and then that will let me drill my first hole. And since it's clamped up there, I already have the template ready. I can go ahead and mark and drill the second hole right here. Truck is no stranger to having holes drilled in it, so here we go. This is a 1/4 inch bit also. So you can see, got our holes lined up here, got them drilled. We'll go ahead and pull the tape off here and bolt up that bracket. Alright, so these are the bolts that are used here on the hood, and you can see how thin that cap is on those, and it's going to be really nice because it's going to be thinner than the hood bumpers, which means that these aren't going to rattle against the fenders here and that's just gonna work out really well. So we got the first one put in place here, and I'll bring you in here closer. But what we're gonna do is, this wasn't called for in the instructions, just something that we're gonna do on the hood. We're gonna put a dot of this blue medium strength Vibratite, like Loctite, on these, just to give us a little help. Make sure that those don't back out. We put anti-seize on those ones on the firewall. You saw that earlier. Just one dot there, and it has the acorn nut, just like the hood button for the strut. Lined up super well. Something kind of interesting about this Vibratite stuff is we found out that first off, it's made in the US, which we always like. Second off, this Vibratite was developed by some of the original guys that developed Loctite in general. So at one point there was a changing of hands. People left, people changed, whatever it was. So some of the original designers for Loctite broke off and started their own company called Vibratite. We found this stuff over at Fastenal in Burnsville 4, 5, 6 years ago, something like that. Works super well. We really like it. The paint cracked, and it scared me. I didn't know. I thought I broke the bolt, but it was the paint cracking. I was like, whoa, that's what made me drop. Bring you guys in here and show you what that looks like. And you can see it sitting in that channel. You would only, like, if you weren't really paying attention and I hadn't cracked the paint there, you'd probably never even notice it. But that stud there is just like the one on the firewall. And it's gonna, man, this looks really good. I'm just really happy with this stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and go to this side, do the 2 holes, have it done, and we'll just be ready to lock this in. And the last thing here is literally just adding the strut, which is so easy with these because of the way that they're made. It's literally just snap on. Have to lift the hood a little bit. Dad's here to pick up the hood now. That snaps onto that stud. This one snaps, let it down just a little. That's latch. Now we'll do the other side. Really pushes on, snaps. Snaps. Now, with those in place, let's see how hard it is to shut. Oh, it's super easy to shut actually. It's that easy to shut, and then pull the latch. Well, I'll tell you, it just doesn't get any better than that. Check that out. Did you see that?
That's slick as snow on.
Isn't that nice?
That's live. I like it.
All right, and literally, I mean, it took maybe an hour, and that was with filming and everything. You can see our struts here bolted into the firewall. The strut goes up. I did turn the body, and I'm pretty sure the instructions stated that too. It's just how I did it though. The body toward the firewall and the thinner side up here toward our brackets. And you can see inside here how that all turned out on both sides. I'll tell you, this kit was extremely easy to install and just ridiculously functional too. I'm just gonna hit that raise action one more time. It shuts easier than it did. And hands-free opens. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. That's it. It was literally, this is gonna be a crazy short video. I work very hard on our channel to try and use stuff that is high quality and good stuff. I work really hard to kind of find and study and figure out the best stuff to use. LS Fab didn't pay us to do this. They didn't send us this stuff for free. We bought it and we used it. And I'll tell you, this is about as good of a kit for some sort of aftermarket, something like this, that I've seen in a while, at least. And like I said, this was something pretty simple, these hood struts, but man, what a big difference. it's just a little bit of kind of more modern functionality, and it's like perfect for this truck because it's got the LS swap. It's got kind of it's got a lot of modern stuff in it, you know, mixed with the old style in the 55 truck, and I'm just super stoked with this. It looks really good. So hopefully the guys at LS Fab see this and they like the video that we put together for them. And also, like I said, I just want you guys to know, look up for LS Fab online. They've got kits for like every model of Chevrolet truck for various different things, billet stuff, trunnion kits for tailgates, all that different stuff. So I actually have another kit to kind of upgrade the tailgate on my C10 truck that you guys will see at some point too. I already got the parts here to do it with. And now I'm like even more excited to do that after this kit because it works so well. So hopefully we run into the same thing with the C10 truck. We appreciate you guys so much for watching. As always, if you learned something, if you liked it, hit subscribe. Make sure you come back next week because we'll be doing something else right here on Shift Points. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.